Isn't it interesting, Dr. Buck? That all the hellions in church always sit in the same. And all the folk that catch on to the vision and pushing the vision and want God's best for the church all conglomerate in the same vicinity. And isn't it interesting that out of the 66 books in the Bible, not one time do we ever see any demons fighting each other? The only fighting we ever see is among church folk in the Bible. Let me get back to the text before they kick me out of here. 38 years! Now, what's so interesting about this is that when you properly exegete the text, geographically, this man who's been sitting there at the pool for 38 years is in the same geographical location and locale as Jesus. He's in the same zip code, the same vicinity as Jesus. And my intellectual, eisegetical imagination begins to wonder, why is it that if this man is in the same geographical location as Jesus, why didn't he send a UPS mailman to come and send a letter to Jesus and say, come see about me? I mean, my God, why didn't he call one of his friends and say, listen, go down there and tell Jesus to come see about me? I mean, why didn't he get on Facebook and send a message to Jesus in his inbox to come see about me? Why didn't he send a direct message on Instagram to come see? I mean, my God, why didn't he send a messenger pigeon? I mean, if the man really was serious about getting well after 38 years, if he had just rolled himself into the pool. And Dr. Buck was so interesting about this text and so wonderful. Here's your shout cue right here. Is that for 38 years, the man never came to see about Jesus, but Jesus came to see about this man. I wish there was somebody up in here that could testify that there was a time in your life where you wasn't even thinking about Jesus. But aren't you glad Jesus came looking for you? Aren't you glad that he looked beyond your faults and met you at your need and found you right where you are? Somebody say yes. I wondered how it is that this man, out of the hundreds of people there, got Jesus' attention. How is it that after all the people that Jesus bypassed and stepped over, because nowhere in the text does it say that Jesus healed anybody else but this man. Everybody there had a need. Everybody there had needed something from God, but only this man was the one who got healed by Jesus. I wondered, if the man could not walk because he was lame, how did he get his attention? Can I tell you, please don't tear up this church. Here's your shout cue. Although the man couldn't use his feet, he could still use his mouth. And it's possible, here it is, to focus so much on what you've lost that you forget about what you've got left. I wish there was somebody up in here that said, I may not have my health the way I used to have it, but I still got my joy. I may not have my spouse because they died, but I still got my peace. I may not have the kind of money that I used to have, but I still got my right mind. And after all that I've been through, I still got my joy. I still got my peace, and I still got my right mind. And this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. Say yes. Y'all sit down. Somebody behind you can't see. Watch the text, y'all. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. The text says there are 5 covered colonnades at the pool of Bethesda. 5 covered colonnades. Now, you got to keep in mind that these colonnades then were constructed to protect those who were infirmed from the elements of the weather. They wanted to make sure that those who were sick did not have to worry about the snow and the rain and the storms that would come. And so they protected them by building this colonnade at the pool of Bethesda. But the text is very specific about how many colonnades there are. There are 5. Somebody say 5. 5 covered colonnades. And not only is it 5 covered colonnades, but they're at the pool of Bethesda. Somebody help me say Bethesda. Now watch this, watch this. Bethesda means mercy. They are at the pool of mercy. Okay, you can't shout on that because you forgot what mercy is. Watch this. Mercy is what God holds back from you in spite of you. Okay, I had to preach recently, like the book in Baltimore, Maryland. Be more in the house, amen. And had to preach in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have a 2-year-old that's going on 22, amen. Kennedy Noel is my daughter, and then we have a 1-year-old Keon Nicholas Xavier. 1 year. We got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm married to a diva, amen. So. And so here we are trying to get dressed because we got to get in the car and drive to Baltimore, Maryland. We're already late because my 2-year-old already has her wonderful dress on to go to church, but yet she's eating some cereal, spills something on the dress. We got to change her dress. Then my 1-year-old he's fully clothed, ready to go out the door, but then we start smelling something. So now we got to change. Y'all not talking to me. Y'all say, pray for pastor, pray for pastor. And then my wife still putting on makeup, still putting on high heels. You know, she's an AKA. And so we're running late, and I'm pushing everybody in the car. I get in the car, I put the foot to, y'all don't tell God on me. I put my foot, the pedal to the metal, and I'm driving way too fast on 95, trying to get down to Baltimore, Maryland. The police officer pulls me over, y'all. He pulls me over, and watch this. He gets to my car, Dr. Buck. I start thinking. I got real creative and real innovative. I said, wait a minute, I can get out of this. I'm gonna tell him I'm a pastor. Yo, I pulled my pastor card out. I gave it to the officer, and he said, thank you, pastor. Now here's this ticket, pastor. I got to the courthouse, y'all. Got to the courthouse, can't lie to you. Got to the courthouse, and watch this. The judge said, how do you plead? Now, here I am sitting there because I recognized somebody from a church I had preached at there, and they recognized me. And so here I am thinking, now I could say I wasn't speeding and try to fight this ticket, but yet this parishioner is sitting there. They just heard me preach. They know I'm a pastor. I can't lie in front of the parishioner. Surely I got to be honest, particularly because I am a man of the cloth, ought to be having some level of integrity in the presence of God. So here I am in this dilemma as to how it is that I ought to plead. And so I heard the Spirit say, don't worry about it, be honest and be truthful. I said, Your Honor, I was speeding, I surely was, I broke the law, but Your Honor, I plead mercy. That although I did what they said I did, can you not give me the charge and the penalty that's connected to what I wish I had somebody up in here that did what they said you did, but God looked beyond your faults and met you at your need, and you deserve condemnation, but God gave you mercy. Okay, you didn't like that point, Grace. Let me see if I can talk about grace then. You cannot be a member of grace and not know what grace is. I told you, mercy is what God holds back from you in spite of you. But watch this. There are 5 covered colonnades. 5 is the biblical number for grace. Bethesda is mercy. They're at the pool of mercy covered by grace. Mercy is what God holds back from you in spite of you, but grace is what God gives you in spite of you. Can I tell you up in here that some of us in here could testify that it wasn't simply our connections or networks, oh God, but we're driving in grace. We're living in grace. We get our job because of grace. We got our health because of grace. Can I get about 100 people that can testify and give God some glory that your whole life has been an example of God's grace on your life? Look at verse 7. Almost done. Jesus engages in this wonderful dialogue, and discussion. And the whole substratum of the conversation is one sentence. Jesus asked this man one sentence, which is, do you want to be whole? Now, I like this style of Jesus. This is youth night, right? I like the swag of Jesus because unlike nosy church folk, not here at Grace, but at my church, that are always trying to get in your business by asking leading questions. Amen, somebody. Jesus is not concerned about how the man got there. That is not his concern. Because people, if you're not careful, will come to you and say, let me be your prayer partner, only to get in your business to figure out what's really going on. Jesus is not concerned with how he got there. Jesus is concerned with getting him from where he is to where he needs to be. So the question becomes, do you want to be made well? The man answers by saying, I have no one to help me into the water. But that's not what Jesus asked him. Now, you got to understand about something about God. God is omnipresent, which means he's everywhere at the same time. Not only is he omnipresent, but he's omnipotent, which means he's all-powerful. Not only is he omnipresent and omnipotent, but he is omniscient. We get the word science from. That means that he knows all there is to know. So the real dilemma here is not simply the man's answer, but Jesus' question. Because if you have a God that knows all there is to know, then why would he even ever ask a question? Adam, where are you? The question for Adam was not a question of physical proximity. The question for Adam was a question of spiritual proximity. Now that you have fallen away from me, where are you in relationship to me? Anytime God asks you a question, it's never for him. It's always for you. Do you want to get made well? I've got no one to put me in the water when it's troubled. We have a major dilemma here because the real issue with this man is not his lame feet. The real problem with this man is his vision. Because he's got the chief healer standing right in his presence. But yet he's waiting for an angel to stir the water. Why do you need an angel when you've got Jesus? And can I submit to you that some of our problem is not our sickness? Some of our problem is our vision because we lack the spiritual vision to see what God is really doing behind the scenes. Can I testify to you that could it be possible that God is working the midnight shift behind the scenes, and although you can't see God and you can't trace God or track God, you got to trust God. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. And all of your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Can you see God high and lifted up? Can you see that he's a bridge over troubled waters? Can you see that God is a rock in a weary land? Can you see that he's Mary's baby? Can you see that he's Alpha and Omega? Can you see that he's still a healer? Can you see that not one weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper? Can you see that 1,000 shall fall at your left hand and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come nigh unto you? Can you see that not one weapon formed against you shall prosper? Can you see him blessing you 30, 60, 100-fold return? Can you see him opening up the windows in heaven and pouring out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive? Can you see him as he is? Jesus never touched him, never laid hands on him, never told him to sow a $2,000 seed. Never told him to do the electric slide down the aisle and all your problems would disappear. Never gave him a green handkerchief that he got from Walmart and now selling it for $100 on pPt. Never went to his water faucet in his home kitchen and said he's selling water from Jerusalem for $20. Jesus spoke one word, and everything in the man's life changed. This is revival, isn't it? Isn't it interesting that one word from God can change your entire situation? One word from God can change your entire situation. John 4, the very last story, is about Jesus healing an official's son. And watch this, before Jesus could even get to the official's house, the official had so much faith in Jesus. He said, you don't even have to show up to my address. Just speak the word, and my child will be healed. Can I tell you that not only is there so much power in his words, but there's so much power in him. You remember this woman with the issue of blood for 12 years that she had been battling with, and nothing could help her whatsoever. Watch this. She bogarts her way through the crowd. She inches closer to this man named Jesus. She bows down after being shooed from the disciples, and she touches the hem of his garment. Watch this. He has so much power in him that she doesn't even touch him. She touches something that's touching him. And because she touches something that's touching him, everything she needs comes into fruition. I know this is grace, but would you do me a favor and just touch somebody beside them and tell them, I'm touching Jesus. I'm touching Jesus. And if you can touch me, power is connected to me. Deliverance is connected to me. Joy is connected to me. Peace is connected to me. And God is able to move in community when we get on one accord. I've got to go. Before I do, I want to tell you, there's one more man that if he were here would testify about getting up again. That's we're not in strange territory here. Yeah, there's one more man who knows about being down. Yeah, there's one more man I want to tell you about that knows about getting pushed down. And he was born in Bethlehem. You may know him. In swaddling clothes. He was hung up for our hang-ups. He was put on a cross and crucified, and the crown of thorns was placed in his head. He was beaten until he was unrecognizable. They put him down in the grave. But because One word changed everything. Although he was down, he couldn't stay down, because early Sunday morning, he got up with all power in his hands. I wish there was somebody up in here that knows, regardless of how you've been let down and put down and got down, resurrection power is still in your hands. And if Jesus was able to be knocked down but still get back up again, then so can you. I don't care what you're dealing with. The same spirit and the same power that got Jesus from the grave is the same spirit that can get you back up again. Is there anybody here that can testify God is a good God? Yes, he is. Is there anybody here that can testify that God's brought you through many dangers, toils, and snares, and you have already come? Is there anybody here that can testify that when you look back over your life and think things over, you can truly say that you've been blessed? Is there anybody here that can testify that God turned everything around in your life? Is there anybody here that can testify that God made a way out of no way? Say yes! Say yes! Say yes! Say yes! Get up. No, literally, everybody standing. Our musicians are playing softly. We invite you to Christian Discipleship on this evening. Maybe there's somebody here who's far from God, and you want to reconnect with God on tonight. The doors of the church are open. Maybe there's somebody here on tonight, and you want to begin again. You want to start a brand new relationship with Jesus. Or maybe you need a church home in this neighborhood. What better church than Grace Baptist Church of Germantown? You are covered by grace. Covered by grace. If you're in this church, in this house, and you want to join this church, won't you come? If you're in this house and you want to begin a brand new relationship with Jesus, won't you come?